Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the SU-130PM. It's the Tier 8 Soviet premium tank destroyer. It's located on the south spawn of Prokhorovka, and it's under the command of SalvoFired of the 335th clan. And alongside him is Koblackovik, and he's in the ELC EVEN 90. Game on! Okay, now this is the tank destroyer that was made from the SU-130PM. It wasn't actually put into production, but it's nice to think that it might have been, because it would have been the Soviet version of the Scorpion. Now, Koblackovik and SalvoFired are in platoon, even though they're not in the same clan. And they're going to have a bit of fun with the enemy. And this is a dual perspective video, which means you'll get to see what it looked like from the ELC EVEN 90's point of view. Yes, Koblackovik, and see what he was seeing, as well as what SalvoFired saw. Okay, so he's got a big 13cm main gun. He's capable of doing 520 alpha and penetrating 243mm of armor. And it looks like Koblackovik has already spotted a number of the enemy up ahead. The Cobra and a Selma in the field, and a Scorpion G as well. Okay, so we're just waiting for sighting the enemy so we can start drilling holes in them. First one goes off, hits the tracks. This tank destroyer has the third best alpha and good accuracy at tier 8. It also has a fairly high top speed of 65 kilometers an hour, but takes a little while to build up to that speed. It's got a wide gun arc of 156 degrees, but it can't shoot behind it. So if an enemy gets behind you, you're in deep trouble. All you can do is turn to try and get the gun to face on the enemy. It also has a decent gun depression of 7 degrees, but it also has no armor whatsoever. So, well, I say no armor, 20mm is the best armor on it, which means that if an enemy fires an Arty round at you, yes, you could be in a lot of trouble. Well, that's a nice pen on the Ferdinand for 534. And remember, most of these spots are actually coming from Koblackovik, which means he's picking up the spotting for these shots. That one hits the tracks again. It appears that the enemy does have one of their light tanks on this side of the battlefield. The Object 274A is a light. They've also got an ELC EVEN 90. We haven't seen them yet, though. They're not showing on the list. In fact, the only one we can see is the T28 at the moment, and the Cobra. But there's 2 Cobras on the enemy team. It's a tier 9 game with tier 8 tanks in it. And both the members of the platoon are tier 8. Oh, there's the ELC! Just spotted him, and he goes down to a shot from the Tortoise, which means now that Koblackovik can move about without getting spotted by his alternate number. It would be rather unfortunate if he got spotted by another ELC, because they do have very good camo and very good spotting capabilities. And the Cobra takes a round. Selma up ahead. Bad problem with this one is the reload time. Standard reload, 13.04 seconds. He's got 11.3. Go for lower plate. That's about right. And that one went through, even though it went through the tracks, or the side next to the tracks. And the BZ-166 has gone down. Okay, he's reloaded again. Just need to see a new target. The T28 pops up and pulls back again. Cobra is in the bowl. So he's only popping up intermittently to actually get sights. And it looks to me like Koblackovik might be very close to him in terms of 50 yards. So he needs to be careful, because if he gets too close to that guy, he could actually get auto-detected. Now, the other bad thing about the SU-130PM is you only get 30 rounds of ammo. And that means that you are kind of restricted. You can't blast away at everything, and you might get in trouble. He does have 5 rounds of the high explosive anti-tank ammo, and that is capable of penetrating 320mm of armor. He's not carrying any HE, which is 660 alpha and 65mm of pen. Okay, we're watching the enemy over on the far side as well. Koblackovik keeps showing those, but at this range, with the accuracy of this gun, I'm not so certain it'd be wise to take a shot this side across the battlefield at those enemies, unless you've got a certain shot. T-28 prototypes popping up again to take a shot, and it looks like he's blind firing some of the bushes, so I think he knows that Koblackovik is ahead of us. Every now and then you can see a round zip past into the ground nearby. So he's blind firing. Tortoise and the T-44 moving up to try and counter this Cobra. Koblackovik is asking the Arty to kill the Cobra. So far, Arty hasn't, but now I think the Cobra's met his match. The T-44 has gone in for the kill shot. He must be in reload. And the kill shot actually comes from the T-44. Yes, so he got him in the end. Oh, no, we didn't expect that. The Tortoise died to the Object 257 on the enemy team. He's over by the railway line. You can see that T-28 is taking a lot of damage. And we get a shot. Not easy at this distance. But the T-28 goes down to the T-44. So far, 2,141 hit points of damage. And we're keeping just a short distance behind Koblackovik. But there's a lot of wrecks on the road in the bushes. So it's going to make it difficult to shoot some of the targets that Koblackovik's trying to find for us. And we just lost that T-44 to the enemy Cobra. And it looks like that Cobra is at the back of the map. That's where we're getting indications. There's the M40, M43. And there's the Cobra. And, oh crumbs, that's unlucky. Didn't go through. The M40, M43 is trying to escape. Okay, can we get a shot at the enemy Arty? Looks like he's headed for the railway line. That Kampfpanzer EK1 is... Oh, there he is! Okay, easy kill. Oh, but instead we're going for this guy. And unfortunately that missed, but the M40, M43 got taken out by the Type 61. And look at these rounds are raining in. Ow! That was the Cobra. And we've lost our loader, but we've got him put back in. Yeah, that was a 120mm round, I think. Now we can hit this IS-3. That's a low roll for 484. We get another one in. We're 2 down on the enemy at the moment. Looks like we've cleared out most of the enemy on this side of the battlefield, except maybe for that Cobra. In fact, our Type 61's moved up ahead of us. There's the Object 257. Oh, lovely kill. Right into the side of him. Okay, so now we're 1 over the enemy. And there's the Cobra up ahead of us. But he's appears to be in a depression in the ground, so we're only seeing the top of his tank. And it looks like Koblackovik is illuminating him from a different direction. We can't see him yet, though. Got no outline, nothing to work on. Type 61's moving ahead of us. Over that, there's a wreck in the way. I think it's a ground depression, actually. Yes, it looks like it's the ground. And, well, we can certainly hit this T-832. And he does. So that's over 3,500 hit points of damage. Now he can hit the Cobra, but he's got no shell. Which is always the way. And that's better. Gets a low roll for 478. And in fact, the kill shot comes from Koblackovik, so I think he liked that one. He wanted a kill for himself. Well, that's not really a good shot. In fact, that's probably not the best shot to take. It's only showing a fraction of the vehicle. Okay, well, things are not going so well now because we're one down on the enemy. And we're having to retreat back to our own cap area because... Okay, that was a blind shot. Mainly because the enemy are coming in behind us. Can't see that T-832, the Terminator tank. There he is. Oh, and he goes down to the Type 61. But can we get this Cap Panzer? No. Not enough showing. And I think we were seen there. Well, now it's just 3 on either side. Can we take out this? Oh, we lost the Type 61. In fact, it was the Doom Turtle who got him. And we haven't seen that Doom Turtle for a while, but he has been spotted. He was over by the railway line last time he was spotted. And it looks like Koblackovik is dueling with the Object 274A. Whilst we're trying to deal with this Kampfpanzer EK1. And he's got the 274, so... Okay, can we get this EK1? There he is. Yes! Nice kill. But we took a round from the T95 for 385. So he hasn't got the 155mm gun. Of course, he's got 750 Alpha with the 155mm. So it's probably the 120mm he's got instead. Either that or the 105mm. I'm not sure if the T95 has only... It's supposed to have 3 calibers, a 105mm, a 120mm, and a 155, I believe. Okay, Koblackovik's going to spot for us. He's found him. There he is. Unfortunately, he's face onto us. We put him round into the tracks, which immobilizes him. Because, of course, he's got a very narrow gun arc. Koblackovik's going straight in. He's no fear. He's getting right in there. And, oh my God, he's trying to sit on the guy. Koblackovik, don't get sat on. But he's actually lifting him up so we can shoot into him from above and take him out that way. He's a one-shot. Yes! Wins the game. And here's the battle view from the perspective of Koblackovik in the ELC EVEN 90. And you can see he's got Bounty exhaust, Bounty coated optics, and he's got a CVS as well, Commander's Vision System, as well as polished optics, I think that is as well. Game on. Well, the ELC EVEN 90, it's become a bit of a meme actually. In fact, some players know it as Steve 90 because Steve Walsh actually uses his so effectively. It's basically the Engine Léger de Combat, which is the that's what the ELC stands for, which means light combat tank. And it was supposed to be air transportable so that they could lift it into any of the French colonies. Now it's got 190mm gun, capable of 220 Alpha, and penetrating 175mm with standard ammo. With the APCR, it goes up to 215mm of armor, and with the HE rounds, if he actually had any, 270 alpha, but only 45mm of pen. He spotted enemy tanks already. He spotted a Selma and a Scorpion G. Now, there were 10 different pilot vehicles of the ELC. One of them, this one, had the low-pressure 90mm gun. It had to be a low-pressure gun, because if it wasn't, the vehicle will actually shake itself to pieces. He's just spotted a BZ-166 as well. So that's 3 enemy vehicles I think he spotted. They also made one which actually had 2 30mm cannons, one either side of the turret, and another one which had 120mm recoilless rifles, and it had 4 of them, 2 either side, and that will be a really good one for wargaming to bring into the game, because it would also have a very long reload, but the effect it would have on the battlefield of 4 recoilless rockets going into the enemy, and the amount of damage it could actually do would be tremendous. I'm sure that wargaming will be very tempted to put that one in. He spotted the Ferdinand. He's already picked up 89 hit points of spotting for the Selma, and now he's got another one. He's got the Ferdinand for 534. Oh, that was the object Z274. So we know that where one of the enemy light tanks is, he's directly ahead of us. Now we need to work out where the other enemy light tank is, and that's an ELC EVEN 90 as well. He's more than likely on this side of the battlefield. He's just checking to his left, just to see if it might be to the left. You can see that the T-28 prototype is blind firing some of the bushes where he thinks Koblackovik might be. He's also taking some damage from those shots as well. Of course, he is revealing position. And there's the enemy EVEN 90. And yes, that shot just went in, and that came in from SalvoFired, so that one worked. Okay, he's trying to position himself so he's not obvious, and it's not going to get blind fired. Okay, he's found the Selma. He's also positioning himself so he can make a fast getaway if the enemy tries rushing down. It looks like that BZ-166 has decided to do just that, because he's coming on at furious speed. And that was SalvoFired. The Selma's gone. And yes, he's running away as fast as he can. The BZ's gone. So, okay, so he can now return. The great thing about the ELC is that you've got superb camo, but of course you've still got that 50 meters detection zone, and if you get too close to the enemy, they will spot you. They will hear your engines, so you have to be very, very careful. That Cobra is actually in the dip, in the bowl at the moment. If we can keep him lit, then that might help our teammates to get shots from behind. He's spotting the enemy tanks over on the other side of the battlefield, and you can see the blind fire is still coming in. Shells landing nearby. Yep, there's another one. Obviously, the enemy thinks we're fairly close. Now, the Arty on both teams is an M40, M43. He doesn't seem to be taking requests for fire, though, at the moment, which is a pity. Normally, targets, when they get spotted on this side of the map, they become very easy targets for Arty to hit. It's also helpful to follow your teammates to see which side of the battlefield is thrusting hard, so you can actually then provide some support for them. And there's another shot from the T-28 trying to find out where he is. Yeah, that Cobra keeps coming up to spot. The T-44's moved up. Of course, he's risking taking a shot from the T-28 prototype. And the Tortoise is now moving. There he is. Of course, he's got the armor to come in and bully the Cobra to back down. That's one round into the Cobra, who's now one shot. The T-44 dives in, and it looks like the Cobra is on reload. And unfortunately, our Tortoise is taking a hammering as well. In the meanwhile, I think he got tracked. The Cobra's gone. Unfortunately, our Tortoise went as well there. Taken out by the Object 257. So, you can see Koblackovik moving up on the enemy again, using the bushes for cover. He's gradually making his way up this tree line. And the T-28's had enough. He's down to 16 hit points now. Unfortunately, the wreck of that ELC is just right in front of us at the moment. Okay, the T-28's gone down. T-44 got him. And so now it looks like there's only the Scorpion G up at the end of this tree line. But looks can be deceptive, so he's taking it carefully, just cautiously. Bit by bit, make your way up, and your teammates can then follow. Again, I think he's thinking, let's back in here, go in reverse, so if we do have to pull away quickly, we can just press the button and accelerate. There's the M40, M43, and he's found the Cobra as well. So he got the first spot on both of them. He's up to 4,000 spotting, 4,300 now. They've gone into that ground depression just right next door to the road. There's a little spot there where the ground goes down suddenly and does provide protection. Trying to squeeze up on them bit by bit. He's found it's the M40 again crossing the battlefield. He's trying to get away. And that's him out the game. We're still one down on the enemy. There's the Cobra. Okay, so he spotted him. He's still taking damage, but he's still there because he's using that ground depression to good effect. Looks like the enemy Kampfpanzer EK1 has gone over to the other side of the battlefield. Meanwhile, there's Scorpions on the railway line at the back, so that's a bad position for him to be in. Okay, where is that Cobra? Don't want to get too close. If he's reloaded, he could plant enough rounds into us to take us out, especially after we got hit by the 274A. Yes, he is definitely in that ground depression. You can see there's nothing, we can't spot him without putting ourselves in danger. So Koblakovik's done, well, what he's doing is he's actually pulling back. And I think what he's going to try and do is spot the guy from a different angle. Yes, there he is. He's done the right thing. He's found a different angle to see the Cobra. And the Cobra can't see him, but he can definitely see this guy. And that means his teammates can see where he is, the Cobra, but they've just got to get into a position where they can start shooting him. Need somebody to put a round into that guy. We could try and fire at the moment, but if we did, we'd probably get spotted. Arty finally gets a shot in there. Stuns him for a moment. Now, if he goes behind the bushes for long enough. And he's taken a hit, a big hit. So he's a one shot now for us. He gets the shot in. It's the rear of the vehicle, but he did get spotted. And he's pulled away quickly because there is a T-832, the Terminator tank, just a short distance away, and he doesn't want to get a hit. And now we're down to just 3 on our side, 4 on the enemy side. There's, yeah, there's SalvoFired. Okay, narrowly misses running into the ELC again. Now, is there an enemy near our cap area? Because, of course, they have the east side of the map. And we found the Object 274A. He's crossing the battlefield, trying to come up behind us. I don't want to fire until he's in cover. Good. That's one in. Can we get another one in? Yes, he does. And he fires blind. Now, we're not sure if he did get that one. Yes, he did. He did get that blind hit. Because the 274A is now one shot. Only 19 hit points left. So we've got the Kampfpanzer EK1 being attacked from this direction. And our SalvoFired is the last teammate alive. So this platoon has lasted the full distance. And that 274 is coming in like he really means to kill us. So we're pulling back because, of course, we don't have a lot of armor. But we don't want to give the 274 an easy target. We come in from a different angle and... oh my god, ricochet! And again! That time it works. My god, it took him 3 shots, but he did get it in the end. And the Kampfpanzer EK1 goes down to SalvoFired, which means now there's only one enemy left. It's the T-95, the Doom Turtle. Okay, so far as we know, he's by the railway line. Now, we could go up the other side of the railway line, but of course, there's not a lot of cover on the other side. Well, just a bush line. And if he is on this side of the line, we're probably better off staying this side of the railway track. Okay, so we're going to try and sneak up on him. Where are you? There he is. We've got the side of him. Now, the thing is, SalvoFired is face onto him. We could track him from this distance and, of course, allow SalvoFired to get round, but we might as well just go straight in and then shoot him at close range. Well, the first round bounced him off, and now he's pushing us with his rear, trying to put us into the railway tracks and the wagons, but he's actually lifting his front up, and that gives SalvoFired a kill shot to take this guy out before he squashes us, and that wins the game for Koblackovik and SalvoFired. Here's the end of battle results, and that was an ace tanker game for Koblackovik of CBRO2 in the ELC EVEN 90. He managed to get a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage. He also got a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. He got a patrol duty for being the only one spotting 6 enemy tanks whilst they were being damaged. And on top of all that, he got the scout medal because he spotted at least 9 enemy vehicles in the game, and he did spot 9 exactly. That is what you call the Holy Trinity with an ace tanker. Yes, because he got the 3 medals that mean the most to a light tank. If you get those 3 medals, then you've really done your job well for the game. And his win rate in the game was 3,745, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at his team score and see where he was. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game, but I think you can see who actually did. It was SalvoFired. He got 5,740 hit points of damage. And the second highest damage was, in fact, the Kampfpanzer EK1, who got 5,195, followed by their Object 274A. So he was a good player. He got 3,884. Koblackovik managed to pick up 1,289 hit points of damage. So again, he was doing very well, not just actually spotting, but actually doing damage on top of that. When it came to kills, we can see top scorer was, in fact, the 274A. He got 4 kills. 3 kills went to SalvoFired and also to the Type 61 and T44 on our team. And 2 kills went to Koblackovik and also the T832 and the Object 257 on the enemy team. That Kampfpanzer, by the way, he got a patrol duty for the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, we can see that the High scorer was Koblackovik, and it was entirely down to all the spotting he was doing, massive amount of it. 1,540 went to him. 1,296 went to SalvoFired. They were the only two players who managed to make it over 1,000 base in the game. And the third place goes to Arty, who managed to get 947. I think that's mainly down to the assist that he provided for his teammates, the stun assist. If we look at detail, we can see that Koblackovik fired 10 rounds. He got 10 direct hits on the enemy, so every round hit the target, but only 7 actually penetrated. 2 shots bounced off that Object 274A. 1,289 hit points of damage, of which 669 were at more than 300 meters. I think the other shell that bounced was in fact the one he fired at the T95 right at the end. It hit the armor, it didn't go through, so therefore he couldn't get that one in. But the other 2 rounds he fired right into the rear of the T95 as he kept backing up, trying to push Koblackovik into the railway tracks and try and squash him. And it didn't work. In fact, actually made him more vulnerable to SalvoFired. He did receive 1 hit. It was a penetrating shot. That was from the 274A. He spotted 9 enemy vehicles, so he got the scout medal. 3 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 were killed, and he got 7,770 hit points of spotting assist in the game. On a premium count, he actually earned 113,903 credits for that battle, and he also took away 7,161 experience points, including a mission completion reward of 2,310. So that's the results for Koblackovik. Let's have a look at SalvoFired. Well, he got a first-class tanker, and in fact, it was his first-class tanker in that battle. You can tell it's the first one he's had because he got the scrolls underneath the one, and that's the first time he got it. Got a 5 for effect for doing more damage than the hit points for his own vehicle. Bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9. He got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and he got a Confederate as well, hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate from that one, 8,151, which is super unicum and quite a bit more. Excuse me. If we look at the team score, we can see that he did get the highest damage, 5,740. And of course, second highest was that Camp Panzer, and third highest was their Object 274A. When it came to kills, the Object 274A got the highest with 4. 3 kills went to SalvoFired in second place, along with the Type 61 and T44. And then we can see Koblackovik getting 2 kills, along with the Tortoise. And on the enemy team, their T832 and their 257 got 2 kills. When it came to base XP, there was only 2 in it. And of course, Koblackovik got 1,540 base because, of course, he got all that spotting, 7,000 hit points of spotting. And there's SalvoFired with 1,296, which, of course, was down to the fact that he was there at the end and he managed to get so much damage on the enemy, as well as getting the final kill shot. 21 shots fired by SalvoFired, so he still had 9 rounds spare at the end of the game. 16 direct hits on the enemy, 12 penetration shots, and 5,740 hit points of damage, of which 3,886 were at more than 300 meters. 2 hits received, both penetrated, because of course there's virtually no armor on the SU-130PM. He damaged 11 of the enemy, killed 3, so there's where he got the Confederate, and a very nice one too. 70,786 credits profit on a premium count, and 12,830 experience points, including 9,720 from completing a mission. So what an absolutely spectacular game by SalvoFired in the SU-130PM, and of course Koblackovik in the ELC EVEN 90, proving that when you work as a pair for a tank destroyer and a light tank, you can generate a huge amount of spotting and also be absolutely instrumental in winning a game. Because if the light tank does the spotting, the rest of the team should be able to do the killing, and that will actually end the game quickly. In this one, it went down to the platoon being the only 2 players to survive the onslaught of the battle. They were losing at major points during that game, and the enemy were winning quite well. And of course, they managed to turn it around at the end. And Koblackovik was very smart on taking on that 274 from a different angle, so that the guy couldn't work out where he was being fired upon right at the end. Nice shots on him in the bushes far off in the distance. And then when the guy got close, changed his angle and of course was able to take the guy out from a side shot, although it took 3 rounds to do it. I hope you enjoyed that replay. I thought it was really funny, that bit at the end where Koblackovik was about to get squashed by a T95, but I know why he was doing it. He knew why he was doing it as well. He knew that if he could give SalvoFired a nice shot right into the roof of the T95, he wouldn't need the armor, because of course the roof of that vehicle is very thin, and that round would be enough to finish off the T95 and win the game for them. If you enjoyed that game, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.